colors. I'm colors. Today we're going to be making the tall Pilgrim Gnome that doesn't require you to have the boots. The boots that we make from the pots that I get from the Dollar Tree. Not everyone has those, so I designed a set that does not have the pots or require the pots. And they're 14 inches tall. This is the man and this is the woman. This is how they look. I'm going to make the man today and then make the woman on the next video. So I'd like to give you the materials list to make the man. I have the materials laid out here in front of me. We're going to start with the black felt that we're going to use. We're going to use 2 6x6 inch pieces of black felt for the sleeves, a 9x11 piece of black felt for the pants, and a 17 by 7 inch piece of black felt for his jacket. We're also going to need a 1/2 inch by 20 inch piece of black felt for the tie around his waist. We'll need a 4 inch by 5.5 inch piece of white felt for his collar, a 2 inch by 12 inch piece of rusty brown for his boot area at the bottom, a 1.5 by 12 inch piece for his hat band, 3 7 by 7 inch pieces of tan felt for his nose and hands, and 5 1 inch by 1 inch pieces of rusty brown felt for his buckles. And then we're going to need some, this is optional, but this adds a special effect to the buckles if we use the gold glue sticks that you can get at the Crafters Square at the Dollar Tree. I'll be using those today on his buckles. And then you'll need 2 hats from Joann's. In the doll making section, they have these black felt hats, at my Joann's at least, and they're called Fab Lab black felt hats. So you'll need 2 of those. You'll need 1 pair of these socks that come 2 in a package at the Dollar Tree. Men's full cushioned crew socks. We'll just use 1 pair of those. You'll need some jute. You'll need a squash, a couple squashes, and berries branch for embellishments. Something for him to be holding in his arms. Some rubber bands, some hairspray, firm hold to hairspray. You'll need some polyester fiber fill, some flat marbles, some of these clips that you get from the Crafters Square at the Dollar Tree. These really help to put it together as a tool to put them together. They come 6 in a package and they're really good to have on hand. And we're going to use those today. And we're going to use a new fur that I haven't used before. It's a camel color. I really like it a lot. And we're going to use a 4 inch by a 5.5 inch piece of this. And you'll need some blush. We're going to blush out his nose slightly. And a black permanent marker. And that should be it, besides your scissors and your glue gun. So I'm going to get this stuff pushed back out of the way, and we'll get back and we'll get started on this project. So we're back now, ready to make our project, and I realized I told you wrong on the socks. We do need 2 pair of the white men's crew socks from Dollar Tree. They come 2 in a package, so we do need the whole package. The first thing I want to do is make the body, and it's just a 12-inch body that we use on this with the flat marbles in the bottom. and the hat on the top, or the headpiece, makes them 14 to 15 inches tall, and they stand up really well, and they're a little fancier pilgrims, I think. So we want to start by taking a pair of our white socks and doubling them up. I always like to double up the socks because when you get them stretched out, they're too thin and you can see the marbles and the stuffing right through the fabric. So I always double them up. So put them together like that. And then what you want to do is you want to put some marbles in the bottom. Which is, you kind of got to pull it pretty good. You get a few in at a time when you have it like this, when it's so long. So once you get your marbles in there, you want to fill the rest of the way up with stuffing to 12 inches. So use your measuring tape and make sure it measures 12 inches. We'll have a little bit left over that we'll cut off at the top after we put the rubber band on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with you. So I've got my 12-inch body made up. I've got the marbles in the bottom. I measured that with my measuring tape. It measures 12 inches from the rubber band down to the bottom. And then I've got this extra at the top, which I need to cut off to about 1 inch. We don't want to cut it right down. We want a little bit to work with to glue our things onto. So we want at least a half or 1 inch on there. Like that. About like that. So then we want to go ahead and put the pants on. That's your 9-inch by 11-inch piece of black felt. 9-inch by 11-inch piece of black felt for the pants. And you just want to glue them right from the bottom up, all the way around. And they'll fit just right. Right to the bottom here. We don't want them to go any farther than the bottom because we are going to put that rusty brown color around the bottom when we get to that point. So you want to make sure, even if you have a little bit of white, it'd be better than having them be over. So we'll get this glued on. I'll tack this part down to get started. And I'm just gonna put some glue about 1/4 of an inch in. Oops. bring that up there like that. There's the part where I said oops. You want to stay about a 1/4 inch back because otherwise it's going to ooze out on you a little bit. But if that does happen, you just want to take your black permanent marker and just go right over the top of it. It helps a lot. So you get your pants on like that, and then the next thing I want to do is go ahead and put the arms together. So you want to take your extra pair of socks, and we're going to make 2 7-inch arms. We're going to use our 7-inch rollers like we've been using on our arms, and we're going to cut our socks just a little longer than that 7-inch roller. Like that. We're going to save the bottoms for another project. So you want to take the socks like this and fill them a little bit with the polyester fiber fill. We're calling this Pilgrim Jacob. So on the title it'll be Jacob. And the woman that goes with him to make the couple, her name is Betsy. Jacob and Betsy are the tall 14-inch Pilgrim Gnomes. I fill it about like that. Then is what you want to do is just tunnel down with your fingers into the middle of the sock, into the middle of the polyester fiber fill. You make yourself a hole there and put your roller in there. Bring it back up. Smooth it out. You don't want it to feel like there's little balls of polyester fiber fill in there. You want it to be nice and smooth. So you have to work with it for just a minute, pulling it. Once you get it like that, you want to take a couple rubber bands and making sure that the roller is in there. This will be the end that we put the hand. And this will be the end that attaches to the body. Now I'm going to do the other one like I just did this one. And then I'll be right back with you and we'll do the sleeves. Put the sleeves on the arms. So now I've got the arms with the roller in them, and they have the polyester fiber fill in there, and I'm ready to put the sleeves on the arms. So I need to use the 2 6x6-inch pieces of black felt for the sleeves. Whenever I cut these socks on here, I have sock material all over my table for several minutes. So there it is. Excuse me a minute. You want to take these 6-inch square pieces and take your arms and just lay them. We're going to wrap the wrists with the jute. I want that to show. So I want to wrap it right about there, right at the wrist level, maybe a little higher, and just wrap it around like that. And what we'll do is we'll tack it down on the one side. Tack it down like that. Kind of tuck the arm in like that. I can get a little bit more light. Not a good time to run out of glue. I'm kind of pulling this bead of glue back because I don't want it to come out on me. Just pull that back like that and just fold it into that glue. And we'll hold that for a minute. I'm going to hold this for a minute, and I'm going to do the other arm just like I showed you. I'll be right back with the finished sleeves. So I've got the arms here. This one's finished up. I put some jute around his wrist. Just wrap it around and glued the end around his wrist. And I put a rubber band around the top part that's going to be glued to the body. It was like this, and I put a rubber band around it like this. And this part, it just kind of pulls things together. We're going to get it ready to get glued onto the body. Put your rubber band around it like that and take out any extra polyester fiber fill that may be sticking out. This arm can be trimmed up just a little bit here. Getting it ready to glue on. And then you want to, like I did the other arm, we're going to wrap the wrist with the jute. And just snip it right where this, you're going to have a seam on the arm. Make your glue spot for your jute. I can see a little bit of stray material sticking out there from the jute. So we'll do it like that. That's good. So the arms are ready. I got a little Tom Turkey here falling off the table. So what we want to do now is make the hands so we can get those glued on, and at the same time we'll make the nose. So you want to take out your 3 7-inch by 7-inch pieces of tan felt. There's 3 of them. We want to make our hands and our nose. You make them all the same way. You just want to make a polyester fiber fill ball about the size that you're going to want your hand or nose to be, and put it right in the middle of your 7-inch square. Push it through with your thumb. Like that. And then take a rubber band and go around it real tight. And that, I think, will be a nice nose. You want to take and cut off the extra. Put that in your scrap bag. And that I'll glue on here for the nose. And I'll make 2 more the same way for the hands. So I'll get those done and I'll be right back with you. So I've got the hands and the nose all made up. Made them all the same way. And then what I want to do is take 2 of them and glue them on for hands. You want to take your hand and put your glue on like this. I'm using a low temperature glue gun, and I don't ever have any problems with the rubber bands breaking. I was asked that question recently on comments, so I just wanted to say I haven't had any problems. But I do use this Gorilla glue gun with a low temperature setting. It has a dual temperature glue gun, and I keep it on the low temperature. So that might have something to do with the rubber bands not popping. So then we'll just put some glue on the top of this one, wrap it all the way around like that, put it right on top of the roller. And let that set up like that. Once you have it set up that far, you can let it dry, set up the rest of the way, and go ahead and put your nose on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the nose on. You have to excuse my puppies for a minute. I think there's somebody at the door. Okay, I'm going to let this set up, find out what all the commotion's about, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've got the nose on there. The hands are all glued on and set up. So what we want to do is we want to take the arms and get them glued on the back of the stub here. We want the seam to be on the inside, kind of down to the bottom, so it's not going to be seen. And you just want to glue it on both sides like that. So that's what we're going to do. You can see what I'm doing here. You just want to put your glue right on the rubber band area. Put it right like that, about halfway across on the back of your stub. You want to put your arm and hold it. And then I'm going to put the other one on the other side about halfway across. Then I'm going to hold them both and let them set up for a few minutes, and I'll be right back with you. So I've got my arms attached. They're set up pretty well. And what we want to do next is put on his jacket. You take your 7 by 17 inch piece of black felt. Mine's folded in half here. And you want to keep it folded in half like that, and then fold it in half again like that. Make sure all your corners are together. Just like that. And you want to cut out about a quarter-size piece circle, about like that, between a quarter size and a $1/2. And then you take it and you open it up like that and put it over the top of the nose and the arms, a little stub piece. Bring that through like that, and then bring it down like that. And this is where we use our pink clips. We want to take our pink clips and clip the corners like that. Takes about 3 clips. You just want to do them, set them up like that. Make sure everything's where it should be. I'm going to tuck the top of the jacket sleeves just to make it a cleaner, more finished looking edge up here. Just tuck that in like that. I'm getting the lint off of here because it drives me crazy. Okay, so then you want to start gluing at the corner. Take your clip off. Put your glue right there on the corner like that. Put them together. And then just put your pin right on the top of the glued felt. You just want to go about 1/4 of an inch in, like that. Hold it down and clip it again. And there goes my puppy again. And you just want to do it a 3rd time right there and put your clip. And I'm going to do the other side just like I just did. I'll be right back with you. Got it all glued and set up, and we can take off the clips because it's all set up. And then is what we want to do is go ahead, and this is a jacket, so we want to cut it down to center up towards the nose, about like that. And the beard's going to come down over here, but we want to take and use our tie, our 1/2 inch by 20 inch tie. It's going to be long and we're going to trim it up, but I like to cut it. I like to do it long. We're going to tie it to the front, but have these go to the back. The seams go to the back. And bring it around and tie it on the front. This is just so for what you see on the back, because the front's going to be covered up with the beard. Like that. So then is what we want to do is put on the piece that goes around the bottom that is where his boots would be. So it's that rusty colored piece that we're going to put around the bottom. It's 2 inches by 12 inches, that rusty colored brown piece. We're just going to glue that around the bottom. and it'll be sit on there like that. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue it here at the back at the same seam that the pants are at. I trimmed it a little bit so it would match, the seams would match. And just tack it down on the front and the sides. And that's what you can do is you can take and put some glue. Where's my scissors? Get your scissors ready. And bend this back, fold this back. Right down the middle, put some glue. Like that. Pull that back down. And put your scissors right on there and hold it down. So you'll get an indentation there. So it looks like there's two boots. It's an illusion that he's got boots on. So you just want to hold this for a couple minutes and let it set up. So I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
So the next thing we want to do is take our 4 by 5.5 inch piece of fur, this camel colored fur, and we're going to put the beard on. We've got we're all set up. We've got our indentation down here all set in. It turned out really nice. We'll put buckles on here in a little bit, and gives you an idea that you're looking at boots. But we're going to put the beard on next, and we're going to take and fold our fur in half the long way. Meet the corners together there, and then just cut your fur about 1 inch like that. I've got some loose fur up here I need to pull off. And then we'll just put it up underneath the nose like that. And then we want to tack it down. I'll do the other side. Push it kind of towards the stub so that the hat's sure to cover it up here. And then down here you just want to work your way out. Start working the fact that it's going to be a mustache here. And on the bottom of the beard, you want to take and glue these corners in to round off the beard a little bit. Just glue them in like that. And then you just work your mustache in there. Spray it with a little bit of firm hold hairspray, and that'll help the mustache stay in place. And then what we'll do is we'll work on the hat. We want to take our two hats and clip off the tags. And what we're going to do is we're going to take, this hat it's not tall enough, so we're going to use two hats and we're going to make it taller. So if we put it on like this, it's just not the look. We need it to be a little bit taller than that. And it's going to go this way. We need it to be taller than that. So we're going to take and cut the rim off one of the hats. And then just take, and what we're going to do is we're going to tack that on about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. We're going to put glue around inside of the hat, the cut hat. And then we're just going to put it on here and push it into place and making sure it's the same all the way around. And then you just want to take your hat band, the 1.5 inch by 12 inch piece of rusty brown, and we're going to take that and put it on the hat and take it all the way around to the back. Like that. Actually, this will be the front because we'll put the buckle right over the top of this seam and eliminate having a seam in the back. And then that's what I did was I took a piece of the jute and took that around and tied it right at the bottom where the you can see the ridge. And just put that right in there like that. We don't want to tie it into a knot because then it would be a lump in the buckle. So we'll just glue this in place. Now all we need to do is put the buckle on and the hat will be finished. What I want to do with the buckles is get out the 5 1-inch pieces of rusty brown felt, and we'll start making our buckles. We'll start with one for the hat. Now the hat looks like this so far. It's going to go on just like this. We're going to put this buckle on first. What I want to do is take my black marker and darken in a rectangle shape in the middle of it. Like that. I'm going to do that to all the 1-inch squares, and I'll be right back with you. So I've got all the buckles darkened in a rectangle in the center. I went ahead and glued these 3 on. I'm going to glue the 4th one on here. They all turned out good, so I won't need the 5th extra one that I had cut. I usually cut an extra one so I don't have to go back and do that if I mess up on one, but they all turned out good this time. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on the hat. Right in the center, like that. And then we'll glue the hat on, and after that we're going to do the gold glitter glue. So what we want to do is we want to glue the hat right back onto the top of the nose, the rim here onto the top of the nose here. So it kind of sits back like that, and then just get your rim right into the glue there. We're going to let that set up. And then I'll be right back with you and we'll do the sides. So what we want to do is we've got the front glued on. I'm still holding it, but we can go ahead and lift up the corners of our hat a little bit and get our glue in there. A couple pumps of glue on each side of the hat underneath to glue the sides down. I'm going to hold those. The hat takes a little while to get glued down because you have to hold it for a few minutes to make sure it sets up good. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, the next thing I need to do is glue on the piece of jute around the top of the boot area. And so I cut a piece of jute for that. And we're just going to bring it around the top of that rusty brown felt. Like that. We can lay the gnome down for a minute and just glue it down. It's just a little trim piece. I'm going to tack it down a little bit right here in the front so it stays in place. The last thing we're going to do is the gold glitter on the buckles. But right now I want to go ahead and put on the pumpkins and the squash. We're going to do this piece. We'll just put right on the, we'll put these two pieces together. And then we're going to go ahead and glue both to the arm and then to the side of the body. I'm going to hold this and let it set up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have this glued on. I glued it onto the arm, and then I tacked it onto the beard a little bit down here. And then the other one, we want to put a little glue on it right here. These are pretty lightweight, so they don't require a lot of glue. I'm just going to hold that and let that set up. And then when we come back, we'll be all ready to put the gold glue on the buckles. And we'll be finished. So I'll be right back with you. We also have one last thing we have to do before we can go to the gold on the buckles. And that is put the back collar on. That 4" by 5.5" piece of white felt goes on the back. It somehow got misplaced on the table, and we're just now realizing we still need to put that on. Sorry about that. So anyways, we can tuck it right up under here. There's no problem there. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and get the gold glue melting in the glue gun, and then we'll be back to finish up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is the gold glitter glue. Comes like this, and we're going to put it on the buckles. And I'm going to lay him down to do it. This is what we're doing right here. You see on these buckles. So we have to go all the way around as straight as we can get, but not, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is real stringy, this glitter glue. Best to kind of wait for it to be done to pull the little strings off if you can't get them, because it might pull the glue right out of place. So we'll just let that set up like that, and then we'll take the string off. See how it's just, I don't know if you can see that on the video or not, but it really strings up. So we'll do the one that's right below his beard here. And then down here for boot buckles. So if you pull it too soon, it'll pull the glue right back off. So I'm going to let that cool off for a minute, and then I'm going to pull these strings off, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so he's all finished now. This glitter glue all dried, and I pulled this loose little strings out of it. He looks really good. I'm happy with the camel color fur. I think he turned out really nice. If you like this video, make sure to like. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. We really appreciate you coming and spending this time with us today.